I'm Stuart Thompson, editor of Digital TV Europe. I'm here with Chris Lammers, who is Chief Operating Officer at CableLabs. Chris, you were talking here at Cable Congress about the next and how far ahead you need to look to enable cable operators to stay ahead of the game. Can you tell me a little bit about how far ahead you need to be thinking and what that means in practice for CableLabs in terms of how it looks at future strategy for cable?
As I mentioned in my presentation yesterday, we have basically two time segments we're looking at in what I call the next and the next. The next are our short-term technical initiatives, technology that will be deployed from 0 to 3 years, where operators are immediately looking to deploy technologies that will advantage them in the next 3 years. The second time segment we're looking at is 3 to 8 years out, where we have our innovation initiatives, and we're identifying technologies that will answer the question, the next, to assure we are not one but 2 steps ahead in terms of the innovative technologies that will continue to allow cable operators to maintain their competitive positioning and in fact increase it from the standpoint of both their consumers, enterprise customers, and the introduction of new services.
Now, the key battleground of cable faces is broadband. I know you've obviously been developing the DOCSIS technology that has served cable so well, and recently we've heard a lot about full duplex DOCSIS and its ability to deliver symmetrical bandwidth for cable. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how it's progressing, what needs it is going to fill for cable?
Full duplex DOCSIS is integrated into the DOCSIS 3.1 specification, and as you know, DOCSIS 3.1 is now in its 3rd year of deployment. It is now actively deployed by 22 or 23 cable operators around the world, including several here in Europe. Full duplex DOCSIS allows cable operators to take advantage of DOCSIS 3.1, which has the capacity to deliver 10 gigabits per second downstream and 1 to 2 gigabit per second upstream, and increase that upstream capability to be fully symmetrical to allow for 10 gigabits downstream and 10 gigabits per second upstream when those technologies are driven by consumer demand. We've completed the specifications for full duplex DOCSIS and have just begun doing interoperability tests with manufacturers who are prototyping product that align with the full duplex DOCSIS specification. We expect to see prototype implementation and field trials towards the end of this year and into 2019, and commercial deployment in 2020 of the full duplex technology, allowing that symmetrical 10 gigabit per second service. Again, when that's driven by a commercial sense of the operator's need for that service, and again, the consumer demand for the service. That said, I don't want to overlook the fact that DOCSIS 3.1 has the capacity now and in the future to deliver 1 gigabit per second and more upstream capability as well. And so that technology assures that we'll be ahead of the curve when that upstream gigabit per second requirements are met, subject to some network changes. And then going to the next, full duplex DOCSIS will allow a full 10 gigabits per second if one needs to close that gap between 1 to 2 gigabits per second upstream and a full 10, again based on consumer demand and operator services.
Part of what cable is trying to do also, I guess, is migrate to IP video. How do you see that developing, and what technologies are available to help cable move to that IP platform and away from its legacy cable broadcast platform?
Well, as you know, cable operators now deliver IP video services. Many of them are delivering their on-demand content through IP over the DOCSIS network. So the existing DOCSIS network allows us to deliver bits. Bits are inherently IP, and those bits can be voice, they can be video, they can be data. So that's occurring on networks now. In terms of the evolution to full IP, so that all content, video in this case, is being delivered via an IP network, our DOCSIS network and its evolution to our earlier discussion around DOCSIS 3.1 full duplex DOCSIS will allow the increasing bandwidth that's necessary to transition from the QAM video to IP video, So those tools exist, and we continue to evolve additional technology and tools to assure that operators have the technology necessary to achieve that all IP solution. When that happens and under what circumstances is very much geared towards each individual operator. The circumstances of his existing network, its network capacity, its consumer demand, its competitive dynamic. And so the time points at which that will occur is very much within the control of the cable operator. From CableLabs' perspective, through the evolution of DOCSIS, through the evolution of what we are doing in terms of creating much higher capacity for the fiber portion of the network, and we're looking at orders of magnitude in terms of increasing that capacity, to assure that when and if operators get to the point of focusing on an all IP transition, that capacity, capability, and network management exists to make that transition, with the operators determining when that transition should be.
Finally, Chris, we hear a lot about 5G and fixed mobile convergence. How do you see the roadmap for cable to embrace that 5G future and deliver true fixed mobile convergence?
The work CableLabs is doing in the 5G area is extensive. In fact, wireless is our largest area of focus at this point in time, although not to minimize what we're focused on in the fixed network with DOCSIS, with fiber, and other fixed network areas. But in 5G, we've been focusing on characterizing the spectrum performance in various areas. We're looking at spectrum at 3.5, 3.7, 28, in the 39, 37, 39, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 true millimeter wavelength, to determine how those technologies perform and can be harnessed by cable operators to focus on the utilization of wireless as an additional solution in terms of its network. Networks have gone well beyond just fixed, and we're very focused on the convergence of fixed through HFC as well as fiber and wireless to determine in what circumstances additional reach can be achieved by the use of wireless technology, how licensed technology, focusing on operators who are in the mobile space, either by virtue of owning their own mobile networks as mobile network operators, MNOs, or MVNOs when they're utilizing another operator's platform, and how to integrate that mobile service into our fixed network, how to take advantage of backhaul, how to provide our own services in both licensed and unlicensed frequencies to maximize our ability to serve a broader subscriber constituency. And again, as in the case of the IP video transition, assuring that we understand the technologies and have the tools in order to create that fixed network integration and deploy 5G technologies in a way that will definitely advantage cable operators based on their own business circumstances.
Chris, thanks very much.
Thank you, Stuart.